When an Autobot is seriously damaged in the field, he goes to Autobot Ratchet. But for everyday aches and pains, Hoist is the most trusted guy around. There's no strut or spar Hoist can't fix, and no malady so baffling that he can't diagnose it. He supplements his vast knowledge with an easy bedside manner that makes him well liked by his fellow Autobots and universally acknowledged as the expert on everything from wrist rust to scraplets.
Hey there, welcome back to eBEFOREi Video Reviews. Today I'm taking a look at Transformers Generations IDW series, Hoist. Now, Hoist was a Generation 1 figure that I actually owned as a kid, and he was actually one of my favorite figures. Not my absolute favorite, but one of my favorite for sure. I never actually got the original figure of Trailbreaker, who later became Trail Cutter, but Hoist was the repaint that I got. But I really liked the green tow truck. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So I was very excited that we were going to actually just, get a new updated version right here in 2013. Before we get into the figure itself, let's take a look at his technical specs. His strength, as you can see, is an 8. His intelligence is a 6. He's really slow. His speed is a 3. Endurance is a 7. His rank is a 4. His courage is an 8. His fire blast is a 6. And his skill is a 9. And without further ado, this is Hoist in his vehicle mode. Looks pretty good. He's pretty close to his Generation 1 counterpart. You can see he's a green tow truck, and he's based off of the Trail Cutter mold. This is the IDW Trail Cutter. But since this is a Hoist review, get the cutter out of here. You can see that he's just got a real nice look all the way around. And, he's got some obvious robot feet in the back, but other than that, I think this figure was put together quite well. Transformation's pretty unique, and I love what they did. So ingenious. It's so simple, but awesome what they did with the tow hook. We'll get into that here in a moment. Let's take a closer look at Hoist. Hey, who's on Hoist? So this is an up-close shot, and paint applications are okay. You've got some silver right here in the headlights. Silver down here in what would be the, the parking or the fog lights. A really nice Autobot symbol that looks good. The color green is kind of your, Incredible Hulkish green. It's not bad. It looks okay. What's interesting about this is green plastic. This part up here is painted green over translucent plastic. So this window is translucent. You got this part that's painted, and it all matches up pretty well. Unlike some of those bits and pieces on IDW Bumblebee. It was just a mismatch of paint. He's got the very G1-esque yellow and black stripes here, and that carries over on the tow hook itself. Now, you've got this piece, which, I don't know, maybe missile pods? Not really quite a robot in disguise with this. I think in the original Trail Cutter, this piece was more of like an engine, or I may be completely off base on that, or some type of air intake. And on this vehicle, it doesn't really make sense. I mean, I guess you could kind of tilt it down. That's weird. You could point it straight up, but then it interferes with the tail hook, or the the tail hook interferes with the tow hook. So I don't know what else to do with it, but as is, it's fine. You got two different types of tires. You've got what look to be, and it might just be an optical illusion, but I believe the front tires are slightly smaller than the back tires. You also have different types of rims on the inside and different types of connector pieces. This appears to be snapped into plastic, and this is bolted in with a metal bolt right there. Got all kinds of ports for weapons, which is cool. On the underside, you've got some robot kibble, but it's not terrible. He's folded up pretty compact. On the back, you just have no paint, and that's depressing. A little bit of tail light would have been nice, just something, but it's a deluxe scale figure, and these days I suppose I can forgive that. Top view, get a little peek of his head, but not obtrusive in any way. And overall, I just think the figure looks pretty good. Now, to get him transformed, it's the exact same transformation as the Deluxe counterpart, Trail Cutter. Just like Generation 1, the transformation was exactly the same as well. To get him transformed, you just want to grab this piece right here, and pull it out. Now this is a bit of a genius thing right here. This is the normal, the tow hook. And if you fold this hook inside and then move this down like that, and then flip it around and move this peg, actually move it this way, this becomes a bit of like a blaster, like a weapon. And so with something like that, you can plug it into the side of the vehicle. I mean, you can point it up. It's just awesome. And I know it's simple, and I'm getting probably overexcited over the littlest thing here, but it's just a neat use. I never would have thought, hey, make that tow hook into a weapon. It's just cool. So I'm very pleased with the way that turned out. Moving on to the transformation. Again, this figure is very, very simple to transform, but it's not so simple that you won't have fun with it. What you want to do is you want to take the legs, split the legs, and you can pull the leg out just like I did, and it'll come down. But what you're actually doing, and you've got all these tabs in here, and just kind of untab everything. But it's got this dual hinge, so you're bringing the leg out and then down like that. So that's basically how you form the legs. There are tabs on the inside here. So you can see there's an orange tab there and a slot right there. So you just want to make sure that everything's tabbed together. Turn them around to the other side, pull down the feet, and well, yeah, that's pretty much it. You've transformed the legs. Moving up to the top of the figure, you want to come in here and take these bits, and these are tabbed in, so you just want to pull these down and pull the whole arm assembly up, separate the arms, and these wheels will invert. And the kind of a neat thing here, when you do this, there's only a very small portion of this wheel that actually turns. The other part's just for show, and you'll see it when I flip the whole arms over. But you're going to take these wheels, and you're going to flip the rolly parts on the inside. All right, but it still has a wheel on the outside, and that's just for show, so it looks like he's got the wheels up under his arms. Now you want to stick your thumb up here and push down the Autobot symbol, kind of get some separation, push this down like that. This is on a dual hinge. You've got a hinge here and a hinge there, and you just want to bring it up and then back down from the other hinge. When you do that, you kind of snap that in over the Autobot symbol there. Reach in here and grab the head. And to do that, you've got this orange tab, and just stick your fingernail in there like that. Lift the head up until it snaps. Turn the head around. You want to take this whole arm assembly, twist it up. You've got a tab right there. Tab it into place. Bring the whole arm down. Flip this forearm. You want to take this piece, just push it in like that. The fist on this go-around just kind of came out on its own. If it didn't, just pull it out like that. Rinse and repeat on the other side. You want to lift this up, snap it into place, bring this down, collapse, pull out the fist, and you basically have a finished transformation of Hoist. Let's stand him up, pose him up, and here you have Hoist in his robot mode, and he looks pretty good, actually. Let's take a closer look. You've got a very, very nice Generation 1 type head sculpt, and you do have some light piping, but I'll tell you, I've got some bright lights in my room. I'm not getting a whole lot of light shining through here, so light piping is kind of mediocre at best. The weird thing about it is you can see where the opening is for the light pipe. It's down low underneath the screw in the back of the head, but yet the eyes obviously are up higher, so you're just not getting a whole lot of light through there. Not a big deal. The eyes still look cool, but not as much light shining through as I would like. Now, there's something about your classic Autobot design that has the hood of the vehicle up on the chest, wheels kind of tucked up under here, head popped out on. I mean, it's got that classic Autobot look, and so I really like the way that this version of the figure came out. Couple of gripes. This piece right here in the shoulder should really be more in that peg, and it just doesn't want to stay there for me on either side, so that's constantly coming out. Not a big deal, but just note that that's there. You've got some really nice blue kind of paint application up in the shoulder right here, and that looks great. Silver painted right there. The fists are not painted. You've got some gray paint up on the abdomen, green waist, generic gray on the legs. Very cool orange right here on the kneecap. Now this is painted. That's orange plastic. Again, these don't quite match, but not a big deal. Painted silver and gray feet. So overall, you got kind of a fair mix of painted plastic and naturally colored plastic or dyed plastic, whatever you call it. But it doesn't look bad together. It actually looks okay. Now you can see the tow hook as the weapon looks pretty good. I've got no problems with that whatsoever. And the super cool thing is that you can actually turn this guy around and peg this into his back. So you have weapon storage. It's unobtrusive. It looks great. Looking at his articulation, his head moves left and right. It does not have an up or down, just on a swivel. The arm, got a ball joint there. You've got a swivel there, a bend there in the elbow, and the fists move due to transformation. Yay, waist articulation, so you can spin the waist around. Ball joint in the leg, hinge knee, and the foot pivots due to transformation. But again, there's not really going to be a lot that you can do with it. I will say that the figure is pretty well posable. So there's a lot of different moves that you can put this guy in, and altogether turns out quite well. Hollowness, you got a bit right there. You got a bit inside the legs. But I'll tell you, overall, the figure feels fairly solid, and it doesn't really detract from anything, at least in my opinion. Now, in the United States, you get this IDW version of the comic. I think in some other countries you do as well, but I did find out that not all countries. So if you're interested in the comic, you might want to just try to import one of the US Hasbro versions of this figure. But I mean, the comic is great. I'm not going to sit here and read it. I think this is something that, if you're interested, you should just pick it up. It comes packaged with the figure. And you can see a lot of the just great artwork in here. A very interesting story about Hoist. And yeah, I'm not going to spoil the ending. I think I just did. Anyway, but you can see the great artwork. Just looks phenomenal. And I think you'll really enjoy this. So do I recommend Transformers Generations Hoist? Yes, I do. I like this guy quite a bit. Fun to play with. Transformation simple, but still interesting. Looks great. Genius use of the tow hook, and overall just a nice figure to add to your collection. Recommended. Thanks again for watching eBEFOREi video reviews. I appreciate each and every one of you. We'll be back here real soon with another figure review. If you want to follow me in all these various places, you can. I'm facebook.com/eBEFOREi. I'm on Twitter @eBEFOREiNet, and my YouTube channel is youtube.com/eBEFOREi. Take care. See you again real soon.